Bill Maher and his panel were totally stunned by how perfectly this guest broke down how Trump is making America great again with his tariff policies after they had just gotten done making fun of them. Check out this awesome clip and stay tuned for after. I'm going to show you how Trump predicted all of this in a book that he wrote almost 40 years ago.
So the reason people want to go back to the 70s is in the 70s, the largest share of our GDP was in the middle class. And that was not separate from the fact that 25% of our economy was in manufacturing.
Right, the largest share of our GDP
was in the middle class, the biggest chunk, the middle class, people who were middle income.
Most of what was produced came from the middle, and now it comes from what? The rich.
Now, the top 20% controls over 50% of the GDP. Our economy was an upward funnel of wealth, and the largest share, which used to be in manufacturing, which gave a lot of working class people a middle class standard of living, now the largest share is in real estate and finance, meaning that asset-rich Americans are controlling over 50% of the GDP, and they have left the working class out of all of that prosperity that was generated. That manufacturing is still being done. It's just being done in other countries. It is still
for wages we will not work for.
That's exactly right. You're right, Bill. That's what the tariffs are for. They are to make American workers more competitive in the global market. Why are we accepting that there should be a race to the bottom? You know, China, what is its competitive advantage over us? It's that it pays slave wages. Why should we accept that? They're still manufacturing our PPE, our pharmaceuticals, our cars. They're making all that stuff. Trump says there are 5 industries that we cannot have any kind of national security without having a stake in them. Pharmaceuticals, lumber, steel, aluminum, and I forget what the 5th one was. But these are really important that we have a stake in the manufacturing of the things that we need as a nation, so that when China decides that it wants to go to war against us, we're not relying on them for steel and aluminum in order to fight them.
Okay, well, at least that's an answer.
If you're interested in the way Trump operates today, which how could you not be, I highly recommend you check out his very first New York Times best-selling book, The Art of the Deal, which he wrote 38 years ago when he was around 40 years old. And you will be absolutely mind-blown how applicable everything that he says and does in this book matches up with the way that he operates today. He talks about his philosophy on thinking bigger and seeing things bigger picture than everybody else. Nobody was talking about our border being wide open. Nobody was talking about the American middle class being depleted of its wealth by all these terrible trade deals we have where we're getting ripped off by other countries. He saw this stuff 40 years ago that's now common sense today. It's also a great book if you're doing any kind of business or sales job where you're dealing with difficult people. He talks about great strategies that he's used throughout his career in this book, and it was even true 40 years ago. He would wake up every morning and there would be thousands of people out there trying to stop him from accomplishing what he wanted to accomplish, and he would just put his head down and work through it and deal with it. It's a really inspiring book. It's a really practical, applicable book if you're doing business or any kind of thing that you need motivation for. I recommend The Art of the Deal. Please subscribe and turn on notifications for the Matthews Report. And if you want a copy of my weekly newsletter, go to thematthewsreport.com, link in the description. Check back again for more reports. Thanks for watching.